I wake up in the dormitory corridor of Kungliga Tekniska, högskolan, Stockholm. And the first thing that hits me is the smell of cold rust mixed with yesterday's instant noodles that someone spilled on the radiator and never wiped. It is winter outside, but the radiator only coughs like an old man who has smoked since 1892. So the puddle is still there, a sticky beige, like reflecting the ceiling light that flickers at the exact rhythm of my childhood night terrors. I am wearing the same wool socks my grandmother knitted before the wall came down in Berlin. And even those sacred socks cannot keep the chill from biting my toes into little bluish marbles. This is how every morning begins, with the universe reminding me that I am paying rent for the privilege of frostbite inside a building that calls itself royal, but behaves like a forgotten Soviet sanatorium. I walk to the architecture studio at 6:45 because the schedule says we must be present all day or we lose points. Yet nobody explains what points actually are. They just float in the air like radioactive dust, invisible but deadly if you inhale too much. The corridor lights are half dead, so every third bulb is a small funeral of light, and the shadows between them look like long fingers pointing at my incompetence. I pass the notice board where someone has pinned a meme of a cat screaming, "This is fine," while the room burns. And underneath it, the administration has added a glossy poster that proclaims welcome to the future of innovation in Helvetica bold. The irony is so thick I could butter bread with it. But there is no bread, only a vending machine that ate my last 50 krona yesterday and gave me nothing in return. A perfect metaphor for this entire education. When I push open the studio door, the air inside is already stale with the breath of 30 anxious students who have been sitting here since 7 because we are all terrified of being late. The tables are arranged in perfect rows like a Victorian workhouse, except the drawing boards are missing. So we balance our expensive supply piles on our knees. Yes, you heard me. We bought our own drawing boards, our own trace paper, our own X-Acto knives, our own hope. The school provides nothing except a mantra of "be creative" repeated until the words lose meaning and start to sound like a threat. I spent 3,000 krona last month on balsa wood that splintered the moment I looked at it, and the professor told me my model looked like roadkill. He said it with a smile, the way a cat smiles before it drops a half-dead mouse at your feet. The professor arrives at 9:23, 23 minutes late, wearing a black turtleneck that probably cost more than my monthly food budget. He claps once, the sound dry and arrogant, like a bank teller counting someone else's money, and announces today's assignment: design a utopian community for climate refugees. Make it poetic. Do not bore me. Then he leaves. That is it. No briefing, no references, no clue whether he wants actual engineering or a fairy tale drawn in unicorn blood. We sit in silence for 7 minutes until someone starts crying softly, the way a faucet drips when the washer is gone. Nobody comforts her because we are all one bad critique away from becoming a puddle ourselves. At 10:15, I decide I need the wood shop if I am going to pretend I know what poetic engineering looks like. The shop is in the basement, down a staircase that smells of burnt plastic and sawdust, mixed with the metallic tang of old fear. The machines are vintage 1960s, painted industrial green, labels half scratched off, so you have to guess which button starts the band Saw and which one summons Cthulhu. There is no instructor, only a laminated sign that says safety is your responsibility, next to a cartoon man whose severed thumb gives a cheerful thumbs up. I stand there holding a plank of pine that weighs approximately the same as my dwindling will T alive, and I realize nobody is going to show me how to lift it safely. The monitors, 2 third-year boys with dead eyes, are scrolling TikTok videos full of filtered beaches while leaning against the drill press. I ask for help, and one of them shrugs so hard I hear his spine crack.
I am looking into crimes near Kungliga Tekniska högskolan, Stockholm. You know, that university area in Sturmalm, Stockholm. It's like a nice area, but like, there are some not so nice people around, you feel me. Businesses near Kungliga Tekniska högskolan, Stockholm are like, really good at taking your money, but not so good at giving you what you pay for, sadly. Like, there was this one store that sold fake designer bags, and tourists were buying them like crazy, not knowing they were fake. I mean, who wouldn't he want a cheap Louis Vuitton bag, right? But like, these bags were super low quality, and the owners of the store were making a killing off of innocent tourists. I predict the victims probably felt so embarrassed and angry when they found out they got scammed. Like, who wants to waste their money on a fake bag? And probably, the scammers just got away with it, making even more money off of the next unsuspecting tourist. And then, there were these cafes near Kungliga Tekniska högskolan, Stockholm that were, like, charging tourists crazy prices for just a cup of coffee. I am talking, like, 50 euros for a latte, you know. It's like they were taking advantage of the fact that tourists don't speak Swedish and wouldn't know any better. I predict the victims were probably shocked when they saw the prices on their bill, like, what, I paid how much for this coffee? And like, the cafe owners were probably just laughing all the way to the bank, taking advantage of tourists' ignorance. Businesses near Kungliga Tekniska högskolan, Stockholm are like, super good at making you feel guilty for not buying something, you know. Like, there were these street vendors selling, like, cheap souvenirs, and if you didn't buy something, they would, like, yell at you and make you feel bad. I mean, who needs that kind of stress while on vacation, right? I predict the victims probably felt, like, really anxious and just wanted to get away from those aggressive vendors. And, like, the vendors probably just moved on to the next tourist, trying to guilt-trip them into buying something. It's like, I get it. People need to make a living, but, like, not at the expense of innocent tourists, you know. It's just, like, so wrong.
Businesses near Kungliga Tekniska högskolan, Stockholm have a reputation for being disappointing. The kind of disappointment that makes you sigh deeply and question your life choices. If you are looking for joy, good service, or even basic human decency, you might want to look elsewhere. Let us begin with the shopping experience. Gallerian is supposed to be a place where you find what you need, but instead, it is a masterclass in frustration. First, the toilets. Charging for a basic human necessity is not just greedy, it is insulting. Then there is the heat, the lack of seating, and security guards who act like they are guarding a royal palace instead of a shopping mall. Crowds, construction, and an overall sense of being unwelcome make this place more of a punishment than a destination. Now, let us talk about relaxation, or rather, the tragic illusion of it at Central Badit. This spa promises tranquility but delivers stress. The staff treats you like a suspect in a crime, demanding IDs and enforcing bizarre time limits with hidden fees. The saunas are lukewarm, the changing rooms chaotic, and the food situation is a joke, unless you enjoy being laughed at for wanting to eat. The final insult, getting your shoes stolen while you are trapped in a bureaucratic nightmare. Hungry, you will regret it. How Kirk offers food that tastes like sadness. Overpriced, underwhelming, with staff who seem to hate their lives as much as you hate the meal. The noodles, lifeless, the dumplings, a crime against flavor, and the meat. You might as well have bought it from the grocery store and microwaved it yourself. Restaurang Handverkit is not a restaurant, it is a culinary betrayal. The food is either too salty or just plain bad, the portions laughably small, and the service so indifferent you wonder if they are secretly robots programmed to ignore customers. And if you think you can take leftovers home, think again. They would rather throw it away than let you have it. Nightlife near Kungliga Tekniska högskolan Stockholm is a gamble, where the house always wins. Pub Anchor treats foreign guests like intruders, kicking them out for no reason while letting others stay. A bar called Gemma has bartenders who look at you like you ruined their day just by walking in. The cocktails. Expensive disappointment. The vibe, non-existent. Even shopping for clothes is a disaster. Jumperfabriken Shop Stockholm is hostile to children, charging absurd fees for returns, and